number 9. Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Big time, lot of sun. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me, yeah. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of crime. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind. Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. It's running over with the dollar signs. Try and take it from me. Big time. I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind. I'm big time, lot of shine. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try and take it from me, from me, from me, from me. Big time, number 9. Got it in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to a Thursday, January 6th edition of the Ysn Power Hour, sponsored by those sponsors up atop. The man in the van over there in Tommy P's. He joins us. First time, I think, Tommy P's has been on a YSN talk show since the original days of the Breakfast Burrito with Tommy, myself, and, of course, the Squeaky Bandito. So, Tommy, welcome back, my friend.
It's good to be here, DJ. It's been a long time since I've been live on YSN. It was, I think I rode around with like an Xbox headset on and a little mic in my hand as I rode around looking at flooring jobs. So
those were the OG days of YSN, no doubt about it. Of course, Donnie Riccatelli here. The legend, the Dawn Father, is before us, ladies and gentlemen. So make way. And, of course, the kid genius himself, Trey Civarella, joins us yet again from the loge with the signed autographed Pat Narduzzi helmet. Who he doesn't know who Pat Narduzzi is.
It wasn't him, Trey. It wasn't him.
I figured not. I mean, I had to double check though, because that would have been probably the funniest thing to happen in a long time.
But he does want to meet you though and ask you about where you confiscated that helmet.
I can talk to him about that.
Look how geeked he is right now. I haven't seen him this geek since Pavlik joined the show a couple weeks ago.
He was supposed to join today. Where's he at?
Was he really?
Yeah, I talked to him yesterday. He was so busy with appointments yesterday, and he said, "I promise you tomorrow." And I said, "Well, I've heard that before."
I'm also a little sparked up off this bang, so I mean, it's not healthy.
Listen, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take the L on this one, boys.
You didn't send him the stream?
I didn't send him the link.
Send it to him now.
All right, I'll send it to him here when we do our power rankings, because we have to do the power rankings again because we have the voice of the East Liverpool Potters with us today to explain a little bit about why East Liverpool is so good. But before we get to that, this is going to be interesting, and I'm not going to tell you guys why. Just wait. On this day in sports history, for January 6th, 1994, U.S. figure skating champion Nancy Kerrigan is attacked by Tonya Harding's bodyguard at the U.S. Championships in Detroit. Trey, what do you think about that?
I don't know who any of those people are or what any of that sentence meant. So
why?
I don't know who any of those people are. Not a clue. No idea.
You never saw that in sports history? Why?
No. I don't. Oh, I don't know what that means either, man. This is
That's
all over
Nancy
my head.
Kerrigan on the ground, laying there as her knee got blown out by that tube from the bodyguard, screaming, "Why?"
Was it a lead pipe?
Lead pipe, yeah.
The original lead pipe.
That's how we handled things back in the '90s, bro. That's what we do.
Lead pipe at an ice skating rink.
I mean, sure.
Anywhere, anytime, any place, right? That was our motto.
Donnie was a suspect in that case for a while. Till they
I
let him off.
cannot deny that
He's not
or
dead yet.
confirm.
So Trey, Nancy Kerrigan and Tonya Harding are figure skaters that were competing or looking to compete in the 1994 Olympics, right? Was it 94 or 96?
It was the 90. It would be the 96 Olympics, right? No, 96 would have been Summer Olympics, so it would have been 94. Yeah.
So Tonya Harding was a figure skater, and correct me if I'm wrong because I was in 4th grade, but I think Kerrigan was the up and comer. Harding was the one that was pretty much the steady. And there was an issue, and Tonya Harding had her bodyguard just go whack Nancy Kerrigan's knee.
Kerrigan was light years ahead of Tonya Harding as far as talent.
Okay.
And Tonya Harding grew up in a very, very rough, upbringing. If you ever see the Tonya Harding story, it's pretty crazy. Like her mom was insane. Her mom used to chain smoke cigarettes and just fling them at her forehead. So if Tonya Harding did not make it to the Olympics, heads were going to roll, and she took it upon herself to make sure she could make it, but she ended up getting disqualified for those.
Was she DQ'd for that?
Oh yeah.
I thought she was in it.
No. Are you sure? Yeah, well, maybe let's rewind the tape. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out. I do know that there is a Netflix, or no, maybe it's Peacock, has the story, like the movie, the documentary.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to watch this because I'm gonna view it a completely different way than a 4th grader would.
You know, it's only been out for like 3 years now. Can't wait to watch it. You waited, pal. You waited.
Listen, pal. Listen.
Pal.
Not everybody's got the time to watch 18 Spider-Man movies and sit there and criticize all of them.
It's called proper time management, buddy. Proper time management.
It is.
I binge watched Cobra Kai already, season 4.
Okay, let's not say anything about the rest of that season. I'm still not finished.
I won't,
okay.
but you'll be ready for it though.
Oh my gosh, Tommy, help us out here. Do you remember this at all? The Tonya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan stuff?
Oh yeah, it was a big deal. Why me?
Yes, why me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why me? Yeah, I remember it. I was a young kid like you, DJ. What are we, a year apart?
Yep. And that's a long year.
4th
That's
or 5th
a
grade.
long year.
And I think Harding ended up actually participating in the Olympics too.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Because Nancy got the silver.
No.
Because it didn't come out right away that she was behind that. That was an investigation that went on.
It went forever.
Right. So.
Wasn't it at the World Championships or to get into the Olympics is when this all happened?
Yes.
Figure skating.
Yeah, no, she participated, it looks like.
Wow.
Yeah, well, maybe you should watch the documentary again there, fella.
Well, I can't wait.
It's like watching Titanic. I wonder how it ends.
I wonder how it ends. You know, it wasn't the Titanic, though, right? Did you ever hear that conspiracy?
Oh, no. What now?
The
different ship?
It was a different ship. J.P. Morgan owned 2 identical ships. One was an insane amount of years older. They took one was called the Olympus, I think, and one was called the Olympic, and one was called the Titanic. They removed the paint off the Olympic, which was light years older. The Titanic was newer. They painted Titanic on it and got the insurance money for the Titanic versus the Olympic. They sank it on purpose.
Is this confirmed?
No, this is all on the dark web.
It's a ruse. And
Yeah.
by the way, how dare you second guess me on 1994 Lillehammer Olympic figure skating? Because indeed, Nancy Kerrigan of the United States of America won the silver medal.
Before she got the club,
After she got the club.
she continued to skate. Daniel LaRusse is going to fight?
She's America's hero. She's
Wow.
She's a patriot.
Well, Mr. Miyagi was around at the time. He probably rubbed her leg.
Gold?
Would you say, Trey?
Did Harding win gold? Is that
No,
what my Google said?
Oksana Baiul of the
Yeah.
Ukraine won gold.
Oksana was a stud.
Well, she was also like 11.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. Sorry, I read that wrong.
Tonya
Kerrigan got a
won-
medal though. I think Kerrigan medaled in those Olympics, didn't
Silver,
she?
Yeah,
she
silver,
got
silver.
Yeah.
And then in case you were wondering, Elvis Stoico won the gold or won the silver in the men's singles. In case you were keeping track at home, while Alexei Yermanov of Russia took home the gold in 1994. So if you're just checking the boxes on making sure you have your Olympic figure skating history, we're keeping you up to date here on the YSN Power Hour. So a lot of stuff to talk about. We didn't get to talk much about high school hoops yesterday. There were some unbelievable games last night. But naturally, we have to give you a reminder on where teams rank here on the YSN Power Hour. So without further ado, we give you where is it? I just had it. Where'd it go? I don't know. We'll talk about the power rankings. So here's the girls' power rankings. We'll put the screen up. There it is. Salem has the number 1 seed, and they will keep it after a win last night, I believe. Obviously all of this is up to the voters. Now they're 11-1 in that one spot. Liberty 10-0, Poland 8-1. Canfield got another win last night, so they'll probably stay in that top 4, I have to imagine. However, West Branch with a humongous victory last night, handing Marlington, I believe, their first loss of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Marlington, who is the only loss on Salem's, or the only loss on Salem's ledger, now has a loss of their. No?
Oh, wait. No, I thought Salem won by 1.
Salem lost to Marlington by.
Oh, by Marlington. Yes.
By 9. And then in Salem, beat West Branch, beat Canfield, has not played Poland, has not played Liberty. So they beat Howland. They don't play Springfield. I don't think they play Louisville, Brookfield, or Champion. So they've completed the sweep right now of the top 10 teams. But West Branch getting a huge win, 32-31 over Marlington last night, to put them at 10-3. And I think they might move up the charts here this week. But that means somebody's got to drop, and I don't know who you pick, because Canfield won last night. So it'll be interesting. Howland, Springfield, Louisville, Brookfield, and Champion round out the top bunch. Now we go over to the boys' side of things, where Tommy Pease has got a big old grin on his face because his Potters sit at the top of the board. Now 8-1 after a victory over Salem earlier this week. They should stay at the top, but Memorial is pushing them for certain. Cheney loses to Mooney earlier this week, so they might take a nosedive. And I'm interested to see how the voters vote this week to see where Cheney ends up, because Springfield, West Branch still undefeated as they look to compete. Louisville in that 6th slot at 7-2. Ursuline at 6-4. Howland at 6-3. Mooney should move up after that victory over Cheney, but we will see. And then Struthers new this week into the top 10 in all of our power rankings, brought to you by Armidas Kachina. Make sure you get your graduation parties booked right now, because if you're looking to make a splash, you're looking for Armidas Kachina. So look for them on Facebook, or you can go to armidaskachina.com. Tommy Pease, walk me through what makes this team in East Liverpool so incredibly special.
Well, I don't think it's any different than any high school basketball team that's, going to be good. That's speed and size, and that's where the Potters really make an impact on the floor, is with their speed and their size. Cole Daly has been just an absolute monster for the Potters this year, and he does things that, a lot of people aren't even going to realize. And he makes guys alter just about every shot they take. He's got numerous blocks on the year, 4 or 5 a game averaged on the year. Puts up 20 rebounds, usually between 12 and 20 some points as well. So he's a stat sheet stuffer. And then we got 2 good guards that both handle the ball well, and another big kid with size in Xavier Green. And then lately you got Preston Kerr coming off the bench and even starting the last game, and his defense has just been tremendous. He might be the best defender on the team. And then we all know about Mason Ludwig, 6'6", 275. Division I recruit on the football field. You bring him off the bench. So, when you go 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", and then you got speed at your guard position, one of your guards is a sharpshooter who on any night can go off. It's a good recipe. And I know we're 8-1, but I don't think we've seen the best of Potter basketball yet, because I've followed this product since I was a little kid, and we're not there yet, but I feel like we have the recipe to get there, and the month of January is definitely going to be a tell for us. And it really, we play Edison at home tomorrow night. More than likely, that'll move us to 9-1, and then Saturday night really is the tell, as we travel to New Philadelphia, and you guys know what you're going to get there. You're going to get well-coached, disciplined basketball team that plays man-to-man, in-your-face defense, and, they're going to make their foul shots. They're going to do all the things right. So you got to go into a place like New Philadelphia, especially on the road, and you got to play your best game to win. If we go in Saturday and we get the W in New Philadelphia, I think it's going to be a special year for the Potters.
I think it's already been a special year for the Potters. You mentioned Cole Daly in the early on of your dialogue there. We had a chance to catch up with Cole the other night. Let's hear what he had to say. Cole Daly, big player of the game for this game against Salem. Talk to me. I mean, you guys had some trouble, some adversity. How nice is it to battle through that adversity and come out with a W?
We knew Salem was a good team. Even though the record says 2-5, we knew they were a good team because we seen the scouting report. We knew they could shoot the ball. We knew they could drive the ball. They got big guys that are 6'6", and we knew we had to come in and battle with them.
I mean, you guys spread the ball around nice today. You were banging bodies underneath the basket. Talk to me about when you're battling for a bucket like that, when you're playing physical basketball. Is that your style?
Yeah, we like it. Even at practice, we like to get into it. Even the little freshmen, they like to come in and rough us up, and that's the way we like to play. We want to come out with a win that way.
Number 1 in the power rankings for the Potters, second week in a row. Talk to me about what you got to do to stay there.
We got to get better every day. We got to keep pushing each other at practice. We got to come into games thinking that this is the game that determines the whole season. We got to come out here. What up, Cohen? We got to come out here. We got to win these games.
What's funny is the "What up, Cohen?"
What up?
Tommy's. It's Tommy's son. Cohen Pease. He's sitting behind me like making faces while poor Cole Daly is sweating. He stopped me. He's like, "Hey, listen, I don't like doing interviews. I'm not good at these things." And I said, "You relax," because I do it on my phone. I said, "Relax, dude. It's gonna be fine." First off, I'm doing it like this because Cole's 6'10", and I'm 5'4", and I almost had to get Matt Freeman to get me a ladder so I could interview the guy. Also got to catch up with Nate Conley, who's a little bit shorter and a little bit more my size, but he had a lot of great things to say. I actually got to calm him down a little bit, so that was no piggy. Coach Nate Conley, a big win tonight against Salem. Battle through adversity tonight. Talk to me about that.
Well, I didn't think we played very good, but I thought Salem did. I think, a lot of times people, blame themselves for playing bad, but Salem played good. I thought we got out-coached. I thought we got out-executed. They spread us out, and they hit a lot of threes. But I like Salem. We're not in the same conference. We're in the same county, so I'm rooting for them. I only want them to lose one game a year. And I like Jeff, and I like their team, and I'm glad to see they played well tonight. We didn't. We have to get better. Cole Daly was tough tonight. He's been playing like that for the last 4 or 5 games. He's just getting every rebound, scoring, blocking shots. But we got to put together better 4 quarters.
I've never heard of a disappointing win, but from your standpoint, what do you need to do to get better and advance and obviously make this more than just number 1 in the power rankings on YSL?
Yeah, well, we have to be smarter with the basketball. We were up 15 points a couple times and, turnover, and we lose our guy in transition. But you're right. I'm being a little hard. It's tough to win on the road. Salem's a good quality basketball team with, the county player of the year, Drew Weir. So I'm going to smile a little bit now you say that. Thanks, DJ.
You should. All right. And your team, once again, we talked about the other day, second week straight, best team in the area, number 1 in the power rankings. I know it means a lot to the players. What does it mean to you, and how do you stay there?
Well, we got to play like week 1. We got to practice harder. We haven't won anything. We haven't earned anything. We got to start practicing harder. We got to get ready. We got a tough one this weekend. We play back-to-back on Friday, Saturday. We got to go to New Philly, who's probably the best team in our district, Saturday at New Philly. So, we got a tough one. We got to get ready for it.
There he is, and I appreciate Coach Conley and Cole Daly giving me some time after the game. They were getting ready to hop on the bus. And I'll tell you what, man, Coach Conley runs a tight ship. Whenever he's ready to go, he is ready to go. Like, you better be bags packed and hopping on that bus, because you're going to see taillights if you're not there, because Coach Conley's going to leave you behind. From your standpoint, Donnie, I mean, you've coached a lot, and I mean a lot of games, and obviously a heavy love for basketball and sports in our area. This East Liverpool team's something special, are they not?
I mean, they absolutely are. I love Poole's response to a lot of those things, where I love the fact that he said he gets those freshmen in there and they like to beat them up a little bit. That is invaluable. To sit there and say that these underclassmen get to come in, there's egos are set aside, we play hard. If you're out on a basketball court during practice and an underclassman comes in and starts beating you up as a senior, junior, whatever you are, and you hate that kid for that, there's something wrong with you. That kid's in there to make you better. And for him to come in, for him to say that on the interview, I think that speaks volumes of that team. And I'm telling you, man, they're going to be so much fun to watch. When they're saying they haven't, and like he said, they haven't even scratched the surface yet, man, it's going to be hard to take them off the top of that perch, buddy.
Trey, from your standpoint, I mean, you've been a part of really good teams, not necessarily basketball, but you've seen good basketball teams. You've been a part of good teams yourself. When you see interviews like that with Cole Daly, when you hear the size of East Liverpool, I mean, when they get off the bus, that's a little bit intimidating, is it not?
Yeah, it is. I mean, especially, there's not too many teams that have that many kind of guys like that at that kind of height. So, yeah, it's definitely intimidating, and that kind of stuff starts before the game. I mean, it's like you said, you see those guys get off the bus, 6'5", 6'7", whatever. I mean, that's some size right there, and that shows that, off the rip, it's going to be hard to get boards. There's not going to be a lot of second chance opportunities, and that starts to mess with you during the game. If I shoot this, we're not going to get the ball back this possession. If they go down 4-point, 6-point swing, whatever it's going to be, I mean, that's a lot to think about.
Tommy, it's a brand of basketball we're not necessarily used to. I mean, you get few and far teams between living above the rim, as Coach Conley likes to say. 5-6 dunks a game is what you're accustomed to with that team. When you were watching the Salem game the other night, it was a different. Salem kind of held East Liverpool down to the ground. They held them in check and almost had to make them adjust the way they play on any given night. What did you see on the floor against Salem?
Well, like Coach Conley said in that interview, I mean, there was multiple times in the game where we were pushing that 15-16 mark and then just basically let them back in, whether if it was poor shot selection or if it was some turnovers or just Salem just, battling back and playing hard and doing their best to make a game of it. But the final score was what? Was it by 14 or 15?
16, yeah. 16.
I mean, and it's just, the Potters are the team that could have broke that open at any time, but they didn't have it that night. And that's why, like Coach Conley said in an interview, he wasn't happy, but you turned him around and made him a little happy about the performance. But because he knows sky's the limit for this basketball team. There's a lot of talent on that team from top to bottom. The ball don't have to go in the hoop by just one guy. There's 5 or 6 guys at the top of that roster that can put the ball in the hoop in numerous amounts. It's just about, I think right now, it's just about playing together and spending as much time together on that floor as they can and finding that 5-6 guys that are going to really, propel them to where they want to go. And I think that's, they want to get back to that Sweet 16. It's been a long time since East Liverpool's been back to the Sweet 16. And I think this is the team in the year that we can get there.
I mean, you talk about tradition, you talk about the padded blue chairs, you talk about everything that's part of this program, all the banners hanging in the Potter Fieldhouse. And when you look at this East Liverpool team, does it feel special? I mean, from the time they come out of the tunnel and the horse is playing to the time that the 000s hit the scoreboard, does it feel like this is a special East Liverpool team, Tommy?
Well, the atmosphere is always special at the Potter Fieldhouse, and I might be saying that just because I'm a homer. But like you said, the padded blue seats, the band's on the floor, the horses playing, here comes the tip drill. I mean, it's a good environment. This is the second best team Conley's had. It's a toss up. There's another team that he had that could hang with this team, but this team with Xavier and Cole and Mason and their size, what they do to offenses is just they create havoc because they're so long and they take offenses out of their game. And I think with our 2 guards and those 3 big guys, and then with Kerr on defense, I think that this is it's a good team. Like, but they got to put it together. They're not there yet. Like that performance at Salem the other night, that's not taking them to the Sweet 16. You know that, and I know that, and everybody watch the game know that. Because when you get down to that, district championship game, you got to play to the top of your level to get on to the Sweet 16. So, but I do love the team. I do love watching them. They're fun. There's been some absolutely just nasty dunks, like dunks that you don't see in high school. I mean, bringing it from way back, rocking the house down. I mean, there's been some good ones. I'm sure you've seen videos of them.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, they're special in my eyes. Are they special enough to go to the Sweet 16 or go, to states? That they got about 45 days to make that work and figure it out, and I think they will.
Chris Sigler says opponents know it's special too. It's not just the Potter faithful. So that is something interesting.
That's a good one.
It is. Coming from
that
Sigler,
comes from
he knows.
Beaver. That came from a Beaver local guy. Can you believe that?
So the most beautiful thing about Tommy P's, all right, everybody knows our colors here, red, white, and blue, right? For just like America, that's how we're built and founded. Tommy will not wear any of our YSN stuff unless it is completely drip dry of the red. He said, I cannot wear red. There's nothing in my wardrobe that is red. It's always blue and white. So until we get something that is absolutely blue and white, Tommy says, I'm good. I'm square.
Well, I've changed my tune on that, DJ.
Oh, breaking news here to YSN.
I have. Well, my daughter goes to Beaver Local.
She does.
And she played volleyball this year, and I actually, for the first time ever, I wore a Beaver Local Beaver shirt. Oof. And I did it once. I could only do it once. And you know what's crazy? The night I came home from the game, I picked up one of those like heater things you put in and the wax melts and it makes your house smell good. And I picked it up and it splashed and ruined my Beaver Local shirt. So I knew right there.
On purpose.
It was the one time I was supposed to wear it, and that was it.
And see, you get an attaboy from Siggy. That's an interesting question. Is there any shirt you would not wear as I wear a Tampa Bay Buccaneers Tom Brady jersey? Is there any shirt that you would not wear of an opposing team or a rival? Donnie, you shaking your head?
1,000%. You will never see me in anything scum. Ever. And look, it was tough because McDonald colors were those colors, and that M. Everybody says, "What are you doing with that M helmet in your bathroom downstairs?" I said, "Take that disgusting word out your mouth. That's never going to be an M helmet from scum. It is the McDonald.
Is
Blue Devil
McDonald
helmet.
blue and white or blue and gold?
They're blue and white.
Okay.
Main colors are blue and white, and their trim is gold.
So that's like East Palestine. Like everybody says we're brown and orange, but our true colors are brown and white.
Brown and white.
Orange
yeah.
is just like the accent color.
Correct.
All right, Trey, for you, whose shirt could you never wear?
So there's not really like a local team. I mean, obviously the obvious answer would probably be like, oh, you'll never see me in a Mooney shirt, this or that. But honest to God, it's not that deep for me. It's not. It really isn't. On a professional level, you'll never see me wear like anything Yankees, anything Steelers, anything Jets. Those three teams, put them in the trash. Put them in the trash. I'm a Dolphins fan.
Oh, that's right. So why not the Steelers?
Because their fans are obnoxious. No offense.
They've been obnoxious since Monday.
So
No, I'm just kidding.
Put it in the bin, light it on fire, get it out of here. Especially any Yankees hats, get them out of my face.
Wow. I have a Yankees hat. I have obviously I have a ton of Steelers gear. I don't think I have anything Jets. I don't think. Do
Awful.
they even sell Jet stuff?
No, because nobody buys them because their team's poverty franchise.
You don't have the Mark Sanchez butt fumble jersey?
I had a Ray Lucas Jets jersey that I got from Value City Furniture or Value City one time, and I don't know where it went to. I wish I still had it. Tommy, other than the well, no, we can't even say that anymore. Whose shirt would you never be able to wear?
Nah, I'm not. I wouldn't say there's any shirt that I wouldn't wear. I mean, there's teams that I wouldn't root for, but I mean, I wouldn't wear a Michigan shirt. I just would never have one, and I would never put it on. I mean, But if I needed a shirt and it was the only one there, I wouldn't be against putting it on. But I never personally like dressed myself in it. So
my question is this: do you hate Tom Brady because he's from Michigan?
Me?
Anybody?
I love Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady
listen,
is the man.
Once you graduate from a college, you're open to a new life, and what he's been able to do in the NFL, you got to respect.
He terrorized my Dolphins for so long, you kind of learned to respect him.
If I bought a Tom Brady Michigan jersey,
why would you do that?
No, that's different. Like
no. Listen,
No.
he didn't he accomplished so much more in the NFL than he did in college.
Sure.
Okay, don't like. I hate that people say, "Well, Derek Jeter loves Michigan," and Derek Jeter was the best baseball player of his time.
He's also overrated.
Oh, he was so good. He was so good.
He was overrated.
I don't know about
the reason the throw was so big is because he didn't have the arm to throw it without jumping. That's why he had to throw it like that. It's because he didn't have the arm. That's why he had to do the jump throw. Let's be honest, okay?
Whatever, Trey. We just bow down to you, buddy.
Amo says he'd never wear a black and gold and won't wear maize and blue, but he has a Jabril Peppers Browns jersey.
I mean, here's my thing. I don't buy Browns jerseys anymore. Because every time I buy that jersey, it's like, okay, they're always traded somewhere else. Like the last Browns jersey that I bought was a Kellen Winslow jersey, and I ended up taking it to Nightline Embroidery in Girard, and they put Riccatelli on the back.
There you go.
I said, there you go. There's my Browns jersey. Although there was a few sizes small now, and I can't wear it anymore. But
we'll get you a brand new customized jersey for all you do for YSN.
Yeah,
I've got to order Siggy's jersey anyway for the Pirates for the bet I lost. So I'll get a Riccatelli Browns jersey just for you.
Beautiful. See, that's why I love you, Deej.
See, and then I'll put a giant Michigan or McDonald block M on the side.
You will. I'll burn that side of it. Listen, like it's like it would give me hives. I would literally be burning inside. It's disgusting. It's like why anybody would root for that team and Harbooger. It drives me nuts because
he might be leaving.
Yeah, you know who's going to replace him? I heard Bill O'Brien. Woo! That's great. Let's go, Bill O'Brien. The same Bill O'Brien that went to Penn State and did absolutely nothing. Let's go.
Let's take a timeout. When we come back, there's a few things I want to talk about. Antonio Brown, this whole saga is interesting, but I want to bring it down a couple notches to the high school level and, understanding when your student athletes need a little bit of a help. Or is it just an attitude adjustment? Because right now I'm torn, and maybe you guys can help me on where Antonio Brown needs to be, because I think that there's a little bit of both that goes in that. So we'll find out about that. We also will have our Joe Dickey Electric, What's Your Spark, when we come back on the YSN Power Hour, brought to you by these great supporters.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense, to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
Storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions. WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the YSN Power Hour. It's Donnie. Donnie, your thing's hitting the desk or something. I don't know what it is.
It's Trey.
It's Trey?
No, I'm muted. It's not me.
All right, I'm going to go on mute.
Is it me?
It's like somebody shuffling poker chips.
That's what it sounds like.
It does sound like somebody's shuffling poker chips.
It's usually Bailey, but he's off the hook because he's not here. So I don't know who. It doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. It's fine.
Listen, you fight through anything, man.
Listen, just grind through it. One guy that didn't grind through it was Antonio Brown. This guy has been interesting, I guess is the best word for it. For the last few years since he left Pittsburgh, went to Oakland, then New England, and then Tampa Bay, and now he's out of the league completely. Officially released today. Everybody saw what happened. Dude takes his jersey off, then takes his shirt off, dances through the end zone, and then comes out and says he's injured. Now it's a he said, she said, or I guess he said thing, and he's blaming Bruce Arians, he's blaming Alex Guerrero, who is the trainer for the Buccaneers and Tom Brady's personal trainer and business assistant. What's wrong with this guy? And the question is there a little bit wrong mentally with him? And then is there a little bit wrong with his maturity level? Because I just can't get a good read on it. Every time I think I have a finger on the pulse, he completely changes his story. So Donnie, we'll start with you.
Yeah.
We're gonna loop this in, like I said, to being a high school athlete and identifying when a kid needs a problem from an attitude adjustment as opposed to if he's got real mental issues.
Yeah, and we'll come back to that, right?
Yep.
Okay, so the whole issue with Antonio Brown is kind of twofold. First, you're an unbelievable athlete, okay? You have been told your entire life that you're a stud athlete. You go to a Steelers organization that doesn't allow you to be expressive and kind of keeps you in check. Like he was there, 8 or 9 seasons? Mm-hmm. And Tomlin and the organization pretty much kept him in check until he got so far out of line. They said, okay, we're done with you. You know what I mean? So, everybody thinks just because you're grown up or whatever that you need to act a certain way or a lot of people question like your mental stability, but we aren't that person. You know what I mean? Like I know in a situation like that, I would be calm. I would assess, why things happen the way they happen, and I would do things professionally. But I'm not Antonio Brown. I'm not, and I'm telling you right now, I am not sticking up for him. I think what he did was absolutely disgraceful. I think what he did was completely and utterly unacceptable. But I think he should have had help well before that. And a lot of these guys, like they go in the off seasons and who knows what they do. He really could have gone and seek counseling, seeked help from somebody. And Siggy's right. He's enabled his problem. And anytime somebody puts a spotlight on that and thinks that it's okay, they're all they're doing is enabling it as well. And nobody's ever going to get better from that. I mean, look at Ron Artest. Okay. Look at Dennis Rodman.
Meta World Peace.
Look at Dennis Rodman. Look at these guys. Like you can pinpoint and see like they're not all there, And hey, is it from a concussion? those are certain things you can look at. But in his case, I don't think so. I think I understand the perfect hit and all that stuff. He hasn't been the same since the perfect hit. Whatever, that's where everybody's pinpointing, but it still doesn't matter. If he is medically cleared to play the game, then he should be medically cleared mentally as well. And he just isn't. He just isn't. And he should have gotten released before he even walked into the locker room.
Trey, from your side, what do you see?
Yeah, so I couldn't agree more with Donnie, and I don't want to play stay-at-home doctor, and I don't want to diagnose him with stuff that we don't know 100%, even though I may lean toward believing in that side. I know we might get deeper into that later, but I do think that there's something wrong. I do think that he needs help. And I think football should be put aside for a while. Not that I think that he's going to get another chance anyway. But, being a player myself, I played for a lot of different coaches, and it hasn't always been sunshine and rainbows, when you're playing sports, especially at a high level. Emotions are going to run high and things are going to happen, but you always have to, carry yourself a certain way because you are playing sports and, you aren't the guy in charge. You're not the main guy. So you have to carry yourself a certain way and act a certain way at all times. And to do what he did on a national level in front of however many people, you just can't have it. I mean, you can't have that on a high school level or college level, any level. The first thing that they teach you in Pee Wee sports is how to handle yourself when things go wrong, and how to handle losses and how to handle everything else. And to see a professional handle an issue like that, it's pretty telling to what the last few years have been like for him. So I think we need to take a step past football and seriously help this guy out, because I think he needs it.
Let's go to Tommy here. I'll open his mic. Tommy, what do you think about this whole Antonio Brown situation?
I mean, it's sad. I mean, unfortunately, he's probably the most talented wide receiver to ever step foot on an NFL field. And that, he's had unbelievable seasons. He's done great things everywhere he's went, but he's also unfortunately been one of those guys that just can't seem to get out of his own way. And that, that culminated on Sunday in New Jersey or New York, or wherever the Jets play. And yeah, it was sad. I mean, it's really sad. I mean, but ultimately, and you're going to see this as you see the news meeting, the Twitter starting to pop now, there's always two sides to every story. And if it's true about his MRI on his ankle that he had done in New York, if it's true that there's bone fragment chips in there and he was in pain and he knew something was wrong and they still want him to go back in, and if that comes out and that's all true, I mean, did it have to go to the extent of what Antonio Brown did? Probably not, but hey, we're talking about Antonio Brown. If he's not happy about something, he's gonna act out on it, and he did on national TV.
I'm interested because there's his story that came out this morning, or was it late last night, something like that. About how Bruce Arians gave him this sign and all, like, there are TV cameras everywhere on those sidelines. So the truth will become very, very real very, very quickly. But I'm not buying the AB story of, I've got my ankle, I couldn't go back in, because the way he left, it's not like he limped out of that stadium. That dude was doing the crowd pump up like this thing and jumping the entire way out. And I'm not saying that he could run a 4.240 on it, but he was throughout the week. He was cleared to play. He was on the injury list as questionable because of his ankle. He did put up pictures of him getting, with the jump stretch bands around his foot. I don't think we're questioning that he could have been or was injured. We're questioning why you left the way you did. Like, that's the part, because you look at all the things that transpired shortly after, right? The dude drops a mixtape before he's out of the locker room for a new CD, or I don't even, do they make CDs anymore? For a new album that he's making. I'm from the pit, not the palace. Like, and then he comes out the next day and has this whole thing with Ben Roethlisberger, who, if you remember, that cat threw Roethlisberger so far under the bus that the bus reversed and hit him again. I mean, that was when he had the blonde mustache, by the way, and was talking to LeBron in the barber shop or whatever it was. So I'm not saying that I don't believe anything that Antonio Brown says, but I think that he's got a really skewed vision of how life really is, and that could be from brain damage or CTE or whatever that is. But like Trey said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to really identify his issues. I just think it's sad at the end of the day, just incredibly sad. And I think the moral of the story is we need to learn more about what he's doing so we can, because it's a copycat society, we need to make sure that our kids, our student athletes, are not acting like that, even when they don't have head injuries and trauma like that. So if you're in a situation and you're a coach, as all of us have been or will be at some point, what do you do when you have a player that acts out like that? Do you even acknowledge it? Let's say your player walks out of the dugout, walks off the field, walks off the court, acting like that, throwing their jersey away at high school. What is the ramifications of their actions, even and especially if they are a prime time player, one of your best? Donnie, we'll start with you.
Well, so I'm gonna rewind a little bit, and before that action would even take place, you have to be in a position to care about your kids first. You have to understand what these kids go through. You have to understand that they are student athletes and they can get extremely stressed out about school. You have to understand that teenagers battle depression a lot of the time too, because just like in life, things happen, relationships happen, everything else. So as a coach, you have to make sure you know your kids, you know their hot buttons, you know what you can do, or say to them to calm them down in certain situations. But if a kid did do that out, on the court or whatever, they would be off the team, and you would understand. You would have to explain to them the reasons why, even if they are the superstar, even if they are whatever. They not only were a detriment to their team, to themselves, to their family, to their community, and they have to live with those consequences as well. But in the same respect, you still care about them. You still have to get them help. You still have to do your best, your part as a coach, because I'm sorry, you're not just a coach. You're a mentor. You're everything to that kid at that moment. So you need to make sure that you set your ego aside. You offer that athlete help.
Tommy, from your standpoint, how do you react to someone that does that off the bench or off the field or however?
Well, in high school sports, the scenario is just completely different, just because of how much is involved with, it's a student athlete, there will be parenting issues, there'll be administration issues in high school. That when something to that extent would happen at the high school level, it wouldn't be the coach making the decision of, what's going on. That would be an administrative issue, I would imagine. But let's hope we don't see that very often at the high school level. But, Antonio Brown's problem started a long time ago. I'm sure, it started when he was young, and it's, if you read the scouting report on him coming out of the NFL, there was a lot of negative in there about personality traits and so on and so forth. And we're seeing that, culminate. Somebody put the other day, give hats off to Mike Tomlin and the Steelers organization for 8-9 years that really kept him at bay, because ever since he's left there, it's been a downhill spiral for AB.
Retroactive.
But it's crazy. What's crazy about AB, honestly, is 2 weeks ago, he came out and went absolutely ham for the Buccaneers. And then, he's still got it, but I don't think he'll play another down in the NFL again. But people say that about Josh Gordon, and he's fourth man on the roster and wide receiver in Kansas City. He's quiet. He's caught a couple touchdowns. He's not causing any issues. So maybe one day there'll be hope for Antonio Brown, because obviously he's still talented, but he's got to work out his issues for sure.
I'm really interested in all of this, and I wish him the best. He was one of my favorite receivers. I refused to give up his jersey from when he was with the Steelers, just because he was that good. But when people ask about it, someday down the line when I put that jersey on and people go, who's that? Was that Antonio Brown? And you go, yeah. And then they ask about him or, the situation. It's going to be a tough story. This dude's not doing himself any favors to his legacy. And some people say that I think he was a first ballot Hall of Famer to begin with. And now that's going to be tough. because the guys that do the voting, this is how they're going to remember him, for all of this stuff that he's put together. So it's sad. It's an unfortunate situation. Trey, if you had a teammate or, someday when you're a coach that a kid acts out like this or a player of yours acts out like this, how do you handle it? How do you start?
So I played this game a long time, so for a while now, and I've seen my fair share of outbursts, with players and coaches or players and umpires, mostly players and umpires, but I played travel ball, I played high school ball, and I've seen some tempers run high. Within the past couple of years, especially, I've seen some kids have some breakdowns and some outbursts, and every kid is different. So as a coach, I think the first thing that you have to do to be a great coach is have your finger on the pulse and kind of be aware of why players act on a consistent basis, like why they do the things that they do. And I think you have to realize what kind of kids act in certain ways, and I think you have to be have a good realization of that. And if you're a coach and something like this happens, and I think you have to talk to the player. You have to give them an in-depth reason as to why they're off the team. This isn't what we represent, or whatever spiel you want to give them. But at the end of the day, it really isn't acceptable. I mean, you're there to play a game, and you can't really let those emotions show. It hurts your team in the long run because, on a professional level, you get questioned about it. On a high school level, you have to address it the day after. And then you're missing the guy, and then the chemistry isn't exactly as it was before because a guy got kicked off the team. And then that's the main thing that you're thinking about going into the next game. So it carries over, and you really can't have that. So on a high school level, it's, it is what it is, but it does happen.
Yeah, without a doubt it happens. Maybe not in the grand magnitude that Antonio Brown. That's never happened in the NFL before. And that surprises me a little bit, that we've never seen somebody just walk off the field the way that we saw Antonio Brown. Anybody want to put a bow on this before we move on to the Dickey Electric?
Hug your children. Hug your children.
There it is.
Love your children.
Perfect. Perfect and well done, Mr. Pease. All right, we are on to the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark? Tommy, I'll explain it when we come back from the stinger. Hang on. It's the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Visit them on the web at dickeyelectric.com. Anything commercial, residential, anything electrical, you need to head over to the official electrical supplier of your sports network, proudly powering the Valley for the last 60 years. Tommy, so what this is you get to put somebody on a pedestal, or you get to grind your axe right here on, the internet, which is undefeated. So we'll kick it around to us. We'll let you close it out, and then we will bid everybody adieu here on the Ysn Power Hour. Trey, what do you have? And lead us off, Mr. Lofton.
So, it's going to be a negative spark. I try and keep things positive for the most part on the show, but there's something that I would love to talk about, and I have to. As you see behind me, I'm a huge Cavs fan, and the recent All-Star voting came out, and we've been talking about basketball all day, but Darius Garland is 9th in the backcourt for voting, and Jared Allen is 6th in the East in the front court for voting. Those guys deserve it outside of Giannis and KD, probably over almost anybody in the Eastern Conference. I mean, they're bringing a Cavs team that was thought to be a pitiful team before the season started to currently, I believe they're sitting in 6th place or 5th place in the East, which isn't even in the play-in. That's above the play-in. These guys have been playing out of their minds, and they deserve almost more than anybody in the East to make the All-Star game in their hometown of Cleveland, or in their basketball town of Cleveland. And yeah, go vote for those guys, because right now they're way too low and they deserve to be higher.
Look at you. All right, let's go to the 5th and U boss.
All right, so I told myself that I would never do a negative spark. And today, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with that negative spark. If there are rumors swirling around, go to the source. Do not extend those rumors. Go to the source. That's all I have to say.
Interesting. That'll be a post-production question. Mine is, I'm excited. This is game number 4 of the week for me tonight. East Palestine and Lisbon, 2 teams that have had rough seasons, but it's always a joy to be able to go in and broadcast these games, even when, and especially when two teams are having tough years, because the excitement that they have to have us in the building, and no matter their record, it's going to be a special night for one of these teams, because one of them, hopefully, fingers crossed, is going to walk out with a victory, barring any cancellations or ties. So, and being that it's not the NFL, we'll probably have a winner tonight. So I'm looking forward to this game. Lisbon always brings the thunder with their community, and it's going to be in my hometown of East Palestine. So it means a short trip home and maybe an extra hour of sleep for me tonight, if the wife lets me have it. So excited for it, and that's my spark. We head over to Tommy P's, the man in the van. What do you got, brother?
Well, my spark is going to be positive, and it's obviously going to be the big game for the Potters Saturday night in New Philadelphia. Potters will be 10-1, going against probably be an 8-2 New Philadelphia team, and I'm going to go out on the limb, and I'm going to say 64-61. Potters move to 11-1 with a New Philly win on Saturday night.
It's a big, close game, my friend. And are we going to try to get that? Am I going to have to make a call down to New Philly and see if
you get on your computer and type an email and get us access to New Philadelphia, I will gladly call that game.
All right,
Saturday
let me
night.
see what I could do. I know New Philly really likes us, so let me see what if I can get them to buy into letting the voice of the East Liverpool Potters head on down to New Philly and pump up a game for YSN. But unfortunately, that's going to do it. We're a couple minutes early, which means that gives some of you guys a chance to do your honeydew list, I guess. So get on that, enjoy the couple minutes, and enjoy tonight's. We got a ton of games on the network tonight, so enjoy it. ysnlive.com/live for all your links and updates. And, of course, we'll have your interviews coming up throughout the night and throughout the afternoon tomorrow. So we'll catch you tomorrow right here on ysnlive.com's very proud, very own. It is the Power Hour. See you guys later.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of your sports network. For stories, stats, and more, go to YSN Live.